regardless of the circumstance or situation. It says a lot about their coaching staff, says a lot about the culture of our program. And when we get in tight situations, we're going to make the plays we need to do to win the game. So give our kids credit. They fought their butts off. I mean, the injury list, I'm not even going to start it. Just be on the conference call tomorrow night. I'm not even going to start going through that. So I don't know who's up, who's down. I know that we got really thin in the secondary. We got thin at linebacker. We got thin at running back, receiver. So I don't know where the injury situation is. But, finally got a turnover first time, I don't know, a year or so. So that was good. And then, but I really can't say enough about our players. Just hanging in there and doing what they had to do to win the game. Jake Bentley's got some performance. Was really accurate with the football. You look at him, he's 22 of 32. Really made some gutsy plays there. Mon Denson comes in, makes a huge run there, well blocked by our offensive line. But really a lot of guys stepped up and win that game. We got to continue to work on some things, but one thing you can't question is the fight of our football team. And I'll open up for any questions.
Will 616 yards, but they had 4 stops to end the game. What did you tell your guys in between those 2 moments?
Just keep hanging in there. We played a little bit more man at the end, made him throw in more tight spaces. But, I mean, at one point we're concerned about getting a call and getting lined up with the youth we had, and it was hard. But I want to give our guys credit. Jalen came in, stepped in there. RJ, both of them were on the field at the same time with Israel. NJC, 4 true freshmen in the secondary, which is the first for me. So, not Jalen, he was a redshirt, he's still a freshman. The guy missed all of last year. Really proud of those guys, the way they stepped up and made some stops at the end. I thought our coverage was good when we were in man, and that's when we talked in the second half as far as playing a little bit more man coverage, because in the zones they really hurt us. Really hurt us because they work the play action fake, and it turns into a 7-man protection with the back and the tight end staying in. So it's hard to get forward there, much less if we're rushing 3, which we did at times. And when you're in zone coverage as accurate he is, it's hard.
How would you evaluate how Jake played today?
I thought he was outstanding. We had 1 third down, which we busted the protection there on that last third down. We had a really good call by Brian. We had what we wanted, and we busted the protection. Jake was going right to him. But I thought, again, accurate with the football. He was 14-18 at halftime. I wish we'd hit that ball to Shy. They're coming off the goal line. That could have flipped the momentum of the game tremendously. But it didn't really matter because our guys were going to grab the momentum in the fourth quarter. That's the bottom line. That's what they do.
Sorry, this sort of resiliency you've talked about earlier in the season, where does that type of thing develop, and how as a coach do you see it coming along? What are the moments and times when you think, okay, I like that?
Well, you recruit it, number one.
Yeah.
You recruit guys that like ball. You recruit guys that have character. You recruit guys that have physical, mental toughness. And that's part of the recruiting process. It's part of the evaluation. You want to evaluate guys, and I give Jake Bentley as an example. He's tough. He's a competitor. He fights. And I'm just giving him as an example. T.J. Brunson is another great example. R.J. Roderick's a freshman, is a great example. Rashad Fenton, the way he rose up in the game and matched up on a very difficult matchup. So, I mean, there was a lot of guys that when you have enough of those guys collectively, then it affects the entire culture of your organization. So the ones riding the fence, they fall the right way. But you continue to preach in our football program about winning games in the fourth quarter. Because in our league, regardless of the circumstances, who you're playing or situation, the games come down to the fourth quarter. It's like the NFL. When I was in the NFL, 80% of the games go down to 1 minute. You've got to be on offense or defense to win the game. We do 1 minute we do kill the clock. We do all the things, and we talk about our players. When those game situations come up, we've got to, number one, as coaches, put you in position to be successful. But number 2, as players, you got to make the plays and understand the situation of ball.
How much can a game like this pay dividends for you down the road, not just this year, but beyond, especially for the young guys?
Well, we had a bunch of young ones in there, but I mean, again, I go back to really our last 3 weeks. We've played better football, and we're 2-1. And we had opportunities in all 3 games to win the game or lose the game, and we won 2 of them. So that's our league. When you want to have a special season, you win all 3.
You guys have talked about your running back depth kind of all year. How much does a game like this sort of remind you how valuable?
In our league, you're not going to make it with 1 or 2. I've been in this league a long time. You take too many hard hits, it's no different than the NFL. You're going to get hit a lot, and you've got to be able to sustain and have guys that are stepped in and can play at a high level. They asked me about our 4th-string running back. I said, we ain't got a 4th-string running back. They're all starters to me. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all starters. I mean, Mon's a starter to me, and he's finally healthy. It's good.
You've been asked, do you like how him and AJ kind of were able to step up and kind of?
Yeah, I thought we had a lot of things in the run game, but we were hitting some things in the pass game. We averaged right at 7.5 yards a play. And so we felt good about what we were doing offensively.
You've been asking for more production on special teams. Just how nice is it? Not only Debo's kick, but his long return after that, just the field position.
Finally got him. We felt like last week we were a block away on 2 returns that we could have broken loose and gotten loose. Eric needs to let the ball go in that situation, but he fielded it clean. And then we got a hat on a hat. When he gets in the open field, he's going to be a hard guy to tackle and get down. So there's no question about that. Joe flipped the field. I thought our coverage was really good. Keyshawn Nixon the last time as a gunner going down the field with the coverage because it was a flat kick. I thought that was huge. But you know, I mean, again, our guys in all 3 phases continue to step up and do the things you got to do to win games.
I've been pretty complimentary of Brian and the job he's done as offensive coordinator. Just what did you see out of him today, and what do you feel like really worked well in the game plan?
Well, I thought he changed things up well. I thought he, put ourselves in some situations, matchup-wise from down the field. What a fantastic catch by Brian Edwards on our sideline. But just, I think he continues to evolve and change each week. Give you a different formation, a different look, a different motion, and not necessarily going away from a lot of different play calls, but giving a window dressing to the defense. And as a defensive coordinator, you've trained all week for this certain look, and this is what they do out of this certain look, and now you're doing it out of a different look, and it gets your players out of kilter a little bit, because that's what they're kind of trained to do. So I think continuing to be aggressive down the field, which we're going to do that. We got the matchups to do that, and now our guys are finishing some plays down the field, and you got to. I really like the way we've protected. And they brought some 5-man and some 6-man tonight, and we blocked it all. So, and we did it when Malik went down. Blake Campers jumps in at left tackle, and we got some guys banged up. I mean, the guys just man down, man up. We don't make excuses around here.
Well, did you and Brian talk after the 4th and 1 play that you didn't pick up, or did you just?
No, I told Brian. I said we hadn't stopped him. I said we're going for it. I said if we're inside a yard, we're going for it. And we like the call. We got whipped up front, but I'd do it again.
How do you coach your defense as a game like this is going on? How do you balance between, being upset with them and trying to keep them in the game?
Well, I think I was upset on the touchdown where Tamu kept it on the keeper. We didn't get lined up. Very upset. We didn't, and that was a base call for us. But sometimes tempo takes its effect, and fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that was said a long time ago by somebody. So at the end of the day, we've got to get a line to get our cleats over. When we don't align right, I'm going to lose it. When we get a line right and they make a play, he was very accurate with the football. He's 20 of 29 at halftime. And we had some contested balls that were contested balls. He made nice throws. A.J. Brown's a really good player. Lodge is a really good player. The slot receiver, Elijah Moore, is a really good player. They put A.J. outside for the first time all season. He ain't played one snap outside all season. So we had to make some huge adjustments and coverage-wise, some things we had planned on, going into the game. We had planned for him to be outside, but not the entire game. So some matchups kind of got out of whack, and we had to make some adjustments. That threw us off a little bit. So, I mean, there were some things. They did a nice job. They had an open week to get ready for this ball game, and they certainly threw some things at us that we didn't necessarily adjust well for. But to answer your question, you got to keep playing, and you got to stay positive, and they weren't stopping us offensively. So in the flow of the game, let's just figure out a way to make 2 or 3 stops, which we did in the end.
How much did you adjust your run-pass balance in the flow of the game based on what you were seeing?
Well, I mean, going in the game, we wanted to play with some tempo at times, but we wanted to be able to keep our defense off the field at times. But as the flow of the game, Brian's asking me, and I said, no, just keep going, because we weren't stopping them and they weren't stopping us. So the worst thing I could do is throw us off rhythm offensively and try and slow the game down, and all of a sudden we don't get first downs. So we stayed with tempo and then continued to rock along call-wise with what he felt good about. And I thought, we had some good run checks in the game, and Jake was accurate with the football.
How much experience did Blake have at left tackle, just beyond maybe camp getting some more?
We cross-train him a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much as a normal left tackle is going to get trained, so give Blake credit. But again, Wolf does a really good job of, shuffling guys throughout the week situationally for something like this to happen. And I don't know that we had a sack. I don't know that we had any pressures. And Benito Jones is probably a good 3 technique as we'll face. Do we have a sack?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can.
At the end, Brunson.
Oh yeah, we busted protection. That wasn't on the offensive line. Yeah, that wasn't good.
Would Dylan be the next guy over there if you had to go to another at the left tackle?
No, Hutch would bump outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sedaris bump outside. You know, Chandler can go play center, Donnell can go play right guard.
We touched on it a little bit earlier about Israel, but how nice was it to see him come in and have that big deflection?
Huge third down,
Yeah.
back shoulder throw. You know, he's got a lot of length. You just got to continue to get stronger. You know, it's you got a bright future. I'm sure he's a really good football player, huh?
And I think Sandage had a big play late.
Sandage, Ricky had his first sack, I believe. He was smiling ear to ear. So good for Ricky. Keisha and Big Rick were here, so I saw them on the Gamecock walk coming in. I want to compliment our fans, man. We had a bunch here, a bunch of Garnet and Black. It was awesome. It was supportive of us. We heard it. We appreciate them more than they know. It was the Gamecock family travels. I can tell you that. It was awesome. We appreciate them.
On Brian Edwards' touchdown, the one-handed catch, what was kind of your perspective of that?
Well, I told him when he goes, no, I'm just kidding. You know, again, the guy is a really good football player. He's an outstanding receiver. I see him make a lot of those catches, so it's not a shock to me.
We'll wrap it up, Coach. Get some players in here.
All right.
Thanks, Bud.